what's so like sketchy is watching the steering wheel turn.
There's nobody in there.
It's like somebody whips it, you know. All right, I want to show you the easiest way to explain this. Okay, you say, Mr. Client, insurance is comprised of 3 buckets. So you got 3 buckets of money, okay? Bucket 1 is money that you owe, okay? So that's gonna be to protect other people. So that's what the $100,000 is. Okay, the $100,000 is the most important coverage on your car insurance policy, because if you hit somebody and you hurt them, Alexander Shinar is suing you. They want money from your bucket. Okay, either you have to pay it or the insurance company can pay it. Which one would you rather do it? Now, the reason why it's important is because $100,000 is not where the claim stops. That's just where the insurance company stops paying. Okay. Bucket number 2 is for property damage. Okay. This is for the thing that you hit, the thing that you damage. So the Rolls Royce, you hit that Rolls. I wouldn't use a Rolls Royce because people aren't going to. I would use like BMW. Yeah. You know, some of these BMWs are $30,000 and some are $200,000, and they both look exactly the same. So you don't know what you hit when you hit it, right? So the second bucket is for property damage, and the third bucket is for you. Rental car, roadside assistance, and med pay protects you. So to me, that's the easiest way to break it down. It's your car insurance policy, and you can use this for commercial, you can use it for home, you can use it for whatever kind of coverage. Just use auto existing simple, but you have your 3 buckets.
As far as financing goes, that's something that you really struggle with, because part of the business plan that I'm really struggling with right now is like, obviously the way I have it set up right now, I'm not showing like a profit really until year 3. I've exaggerated everything, you know, against myself, so I'm sure I can dial that in quite a bit. But as far as in regards to like, I wouldn't be like taking a book of business with me. I mean, I've got clientele that are gonna follow me, but I do have like, you know, a 1-year non-compete force. And then like, how does that, how did you, or what did you run into? What did you do? I'm assuming you needed some sort of financing too. Like, I don't have the money to,
so,
you know, right off the bat, I don't need a lot, but I need, you know,
what I did is I started with enough money to make it about 6 months.
Okay.
And then I bought a small book of business from an agent that was retiring. That was enough to carry me. The renewals for that were enough to carry me the second 6 months. So in theory, the advice I give people is you've got to have enough money to make it first year.
For both, and you're talking personal and business expenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what you do is when you start, and this is the most important piece, when you start, you know what your bottom line is, right? You know how much commission, you know what your expenses are to the penny every single month, okay?
Right.
And so what I did when we started Portal is I knew I had enough money to make it 12 months, okay? I also knew what I needed to break even every single month. If we wrote enough business, I broke it down to the day, you know what I'm saying? So we need to write this much business this month to generate the commission to pay the expenses. All right, what's that divided by 20? Okay, that's how much business we need to write each day. So that was my goal each day, was to get to that premium number, okay? Every day that we got to that premium number was a successful day. And every month that we were able to generate enough new business to generate enough commission to pay our bills and not have to dip into the money that we had set aside for that year, that bought us another month on the back end. You see what I'm saying? So we started in March, I had enough money to make it at the end of February, but if on April of 2019, we wrote a bunch of business that actually paid the bills and we didn't go backwards, now I have enough money to make it to March of next year, and then April, and then May. And so that's kind of how I worked it. Do I think you could start with less than 1 year in the bank? Absolutely. But for me, that was what made me comfortable.
That means insurance rates are likely to increase.
What you can't do is you can't wait on the customer to get upset about it. You have to, as an insurance agent, you have to be proactive and you have to reach out to people.
As an independent agent, Bradley Flowers has been doing just that.
But if there are 2 major hurricanes back to back, you're going to see some changes in rates. Doesn't mean everybody's going up, but there's going to be some folks that see increases.
So I recorded the first one twice. It was like, look, I've got all this equipment, I set it up, me and my little boy done a podcast at home, and he loves it. And so I was like, okay, we sit down, and he's talking about, all this stuff, and as soon as we go to walk out, he was like, hey man, I hope I was close enough to the mic. Well, just as a backup, I put my shotgun mic, the Rode shotgun mic, plugged into here so that I had a secondary.
Yep, backup.
Yeah. For some reason, I hit the wrong button on the shotgun mic, and it didn't record into the phone. I set both of them up, it records mine, but doesn't record his. And so I call, and I'm like, hey, you said, I don't want to put out anything that doesn't look like great quality, but you weren't really close enough to the mic. It was first run, settings, whatever. And he was like, we can shoot it again. And I was like, you sure? So this time I was like, dead sure it was right. Well, on GarageBand, it's got that 7-second clicker. I didn't turn it off. So boom, I'm watching this record, I'm watching our volumes go up and down, we're good to go, we shoot the podcast for the second time. It did not pick up. It recorded 7 seconds, and that was it. And I was like, okay, I think we'll throw this podcast thing out the window, because this sucks. But the audio, I listened to it, it's not what I want, but the audio is good enough on my phone.
Oh, that's the summon.
Like on your phone.
What happens if I jump in front of you?
Yeah. Will it just stop?
Yeah, if you jump out in front of the sensors on it,
Oh my god, dude, it's backing up. It's straightening up.
What in the world, dude? They're trying to figure out how to get here.
So this is where I was this is where I had it targeted the summons.
What's so sketchy is watching the steering wheel turn.
There's nobody in there.
It's like somebody grips it,
And the thing is, Warren, and someone asked me outside of the industry recently about all the M&A activity, and certainly you have more insight than I do, but I said, I think a lot of these big banks have realized how good the residual income is with insurance, because it takes you just as long to climb down the mountain as it does for you to climb up. Some of these big banks can buy an agency and ignore the heck out of it for 10 years and still be making money off of that. I like to start, Tashani, with a quote that I live by, that marketing in the social age is all about going where the attention is, getting there early, and being your real, true, authentic self. So I think that's where you start. And I'm going to break that down today, but in my opinion, the number one way if someone were to come to me and ask me that question, how do I get started in organic content, specifically organic video content, I'm going to tell people to document their journey. I think that is the easiest, best, and most impactful way to really get started and become known in your community or your niche. Things like documenting milestones. This is our 1-year anniversary. This is our 15-year anniversary. Things like documenting team meetings. We have a weekly vlog in our agency where we document things that go on. Conversations that can't be filmed, conversations that can be filmed. And it's important to note that the reason this documentation strategy works, and I think everyone on the panel will agree with me, is that it's the reason reality TV works, is people want to see behind the scenes. They want to see the warts. They want to feel like they know you. And that can have several benefits, but one of the best ones is it's a really, really good way to become known in your community.